morning, everybody, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. Tuesday, January 30th, and today the big game starts. Today, after the market closes, we get 3 of the 6 strippers are going to be up on the pole. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell will be over there at the DJ stand. On Thursday, you get the other 3 going to be coming out there for the encore. Amazon, Apple, and your big daddy, Meta. Coincidentally, this email went out over the weekend by Interactive Brokers. Beware of ramp and dump scams. And here we are with you having had the privilege, thank you very much, Saul, of being able to spend 1 hour of your lifetime listening to the author who wrote the fucking textbook, which all of this is used by, including the algorithms, to have heard it in a more professional manner and in a much more detailed manner, which sounds scarier than hell. And if you didn't spend the hour to watch the video last night, then I wish you the best of luck. It's unfortunate you can't spend an hour of your time on your future. So, moving on from this, today is the big day. Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet. Boom, boom, boom. Our lucky star, Starbucks, is going to be sitting right in there. Be able to move around with that tomorrow as long as it sets up why I'd look. Tomorrow, a little bit boring. Boeing, Qualcomm. But the FOMC meeting is tomorrow. Now, your FOMC email prep will go out later today, and it is very much like what I had posted in the alert room yesterday, 9:45 in the morning. It is a big-ass week. Take your foot off the gas pedal until we get past Tuesday night, and we head into 2 o'clock on Wednesday. Put your foot on the gas pedal, looking out to March, April on QQQ and SPY. And anybody who didn't watch the weekend update video or the one that I sent out last night, yes, straight to your face, you are a loser. That's just the way that it goes. On the spreads, go over that real quick. Because we have a history, right? We've got a history of these risky trades going full credit towards the end of the day, all going full credit, full credit, full credit, full credit. Friday, 49.05, 4900, full credit. Go back once again. Take your foot off the gas, blah, blah, blah. We also have that disclaimer that's been there for quite a while about that upside pivot on the SPX, which we got to yesterday. So you were getting a $2 range on the 49.05, 4900s. They went down to $1.25 before the open. Boom, here's your safe edges. Right after the open, you got $2. Then you got that big VIX pop. All of a sudden, that little bit of a dip. They were down to $3. Or sorry, they were down to $1. 1:30 in the afternoon, they're back up to $2. But we only had a 14-point range, and we had a tiny little gap up there above QQQ. Later, they went to $3. And then we all of a sudden got that big hit. Let me get that big hit up. Right here, early in the morning, right at 48.98, and then got your dip. Right back up again going into, call it 12:30, 12:45 when the bond auction was going. And again, another dip. Later in the day, very easy for the $2 to drop down to $1. And as we went into that 3 o'clock, and what happened at 3 o'clock? At 3 o'clock, you got the U.S. Treasury announcing it's expecting to borrow $760 billion during these 3 months, January to March 2024, down $55 billion from the October estimate. Ooh. Bring it into context, and yesterday's bond auction was an $87 billion auction. One auction. We do multiple ones in a week, sometimes 10, $87 billion. And we're reducing it by 55 billion. And because of that, suddenly you get this rocket ramp at 3 o'clock, directly hitting 49.1810, direct hit on the absolute fucking button. Little bit of a retrace, and then right here into that final 45 minutes of the day, they decided, fuck it, man, let's go for it. And we ran up to 49.29. Saw a lot of messages over there in this red room of people who got hit in the head, hit in the forehead, hit in the ass. Listen, this week is a regular week. The week starts with Sunday, it ends with Saturday. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Sun comes up during the day, sun goes down at night. This ain't that kind of week. If I haven't made that message clear, it ain't that kind of week. This week, you got an 8-inch piece of steel covering your asshole, and you've got 75 different padlocks holding every access that you have to get towards your money until you get through Thursday night, when everything on the road has been completely cleared out. 6 strippers have danced, Jerome Powell has DJ'd, and you are into the beginning of February, because yesterday was the window closing on your full moon window. Full moon was there on the Thursday, 1, 2. Today would be session number 3. Can we go a little bit higher? Well, let's take a look. Zoom out here onto the plain view. 704 points going up here. This is actually very insignificant, whether it's to the December high or it's over here. 704 or 614 means absolutely nothing. Your drop in March, your drop in December. As I've shared before, I preferred this being the February high down to the March low as the 1, 2, the 3 going there into July, the 4 having overlapped this high over here in February, 503 points down, and this all of a sudden ramp that we're going into as we're currently in. So the count, 842, being the number of points the SPX has moved up from the December lows, not coming off the March lows, because you have a fractionally lower low, call it 50 points, over here on the December low, and then this viewed as a zigzag before you went into that proper wave. So 842 points, 503. We are currently at 825 points. So unless I am completely fucking wrong, Robert Prechter has absolutely no fucking clue what he's doing. You got, what, 15 points higher? Maybe. So, again, using it as it is with a grain of salt and looking at this from a bullish perspective, where both he and I are in the same agreement that you are in a bear bounce. That's where we're at for right now. And if you want to know that April comes after March, June comes after May, July comes after June, September comes after August, and there's an election in November. And when he talks about the cycles, I've laid all that out going back all last week about the cycles of this period that we're moving into. You seriously think that I'm going to sell all my puts and go into calls? You are a fucking retard. So the VIX, that big move yesterday on the VIX, on a big move, just talking about relative, okay? Don't want to use the phrase big move out of context. But you never filled your gap over here on the VIX. In fact, you had a fractional baby little dip on the VIX going into that last 30 minutes of the day. Couldn't get above 1387, yeah, but just a fractional little dip over there on the VIX, as you are getting a little bit of a hint coming off of that. So it's enough talk about all of that. I'll go back over here onto the one and only trade alert that was posted in the alert room, which is Tesla, which is already reported. And that being that anyone touching toxic Tesla for a bounce 193.81 is your pivot. And I mention it as that because Tesla is toxic. We are at all-time highs on the NASDAQ. We are at all-time highs on the Dow. We are at all-time highs on the S&P 500. Tesla is down 60% from its all-time highs. It is toxic. February 2, 192.50 calls closed at $1.49. The February 2, 190 calls closed at 205. As of now, what we're looking at, which I will pull up, and this being the one. So yeah, early in the morning, if you jumped right in, you got in around 250, dropped just fractionally below $2. Closed over here at 445. Tesla has gotten into the gap, 193.81. Here we are, $3, call it gap up as of right now. And the upside is still 207.50. Now, watching this, having seen the alert, having looked at this and asking, should I get into the 205 calls? Shut your fucking computer off. You have an enormous week coming up at you. Enormous. This was last week. You've got an absolutely enormous week coming at you. Boeing, Qualcomm Wednesday, Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, Meta, and the FOMC right here in the middle. Take the time, do the research, do the homework, sit on your hands, waiting until Friday if you cannot and do not have the ability to be able to do this as a semi-lucky, semi-strong scalp skills. Friday is 3 trading sessions out of 252 that you'll just have to be patient and wait. Think about how long you had to wait to get laid.